Okay, today we are trying a lot of newly launched Japanese high-end makeup. We have new from SUQQU. Well, this one is not very new, but new to me. New from SUQQU. And again, not very new, but new to me from DECORTE. And new foundation from Albion. And new sunscreens. And also new liquid blushes from ADDICTION. So if you're interested, keep watching. I'm very excited for today's video because every single item is an item that I wanted to try for a long time. The first one is from Albion. It's their Studio Tough Wear Solid, and I think I have the shade 040. And this is a bomb foundation. If you don't know this brand, Albion, I think it's under the Kanebo, big corporate, big brand. And this is not necessarily always luxury, but it definitely is a high-end brand. Including the inside and the case, they sell it separately. Including both, it's around 6,600 yen, so $40-something. So you know it's not super luxury, but they do have a super luxury line called Axia or something. That's another story. Even though it's a bomb foundation, but it's not thick. It's a very thin, balmy and glowy texture. Don't know if you can tell, like there's a lot of glow to it. And my skin right now, it's not at its best, but it's also not at its worst. So I'm interested how this is gonna wear. An initial thought, I feel like this is a little bit too pale for me. Yeah, doesn't seem as yellowy olive toned as it is in the pan. And at the counter, I did notice that all of the shade other than this one are either orange or red. So I feel like the shade range is definitely needs some improvement, which I don't think they are gonna do anytime soon because their shade range is always been like that. And it's starting to peel off, and I don't know if you can tell, like it's pretty bad, which I think is probably the base I'm using. If you don't know, I'm using skincare from Muji. It's vitamin C all-in-one type of stuff, and it's super sticky and it's peeling off. Guys, take two. Start over. Now let's start from sunscreen. Initially, I thought I shouldn't use a new sunscreen under a new foundation, but then I'm like, I have two, so I can compare these two, so I think I still can get some reference. My left side, your right side would be the DECORTE Sun Shelter Extreme Comfort Aqua Sunscreen Gel Solaire. Such a long name. Only has SPF 30, which is so weird. Normally SPF 30 is for the body. And it's very easy to spread, like very watery. This kind of reminds me of the Biolay Aqua Gel. My skin feels amazing, like there's no white cast whatsoever. This RMK UV Face Protector Enhanced. This one is SPF 40, not 40, 50 plus. And I'm using roughly the same amount. And initial thought, I feel like this one, as you can see, has more white cast, and it doesn't feel as glowy as the other one. But I would say the white cast is not like super crazy. So now let's apply this foundation again. This one is pretty popular, not like super viral or anything, but pretty popular right now as well. Pretty pale, like I say it's light medium, but I feel like it's light medium but slightly on the light side. I just feel like if you are moderately not orange and red, this is gonna be your only option. And if this doesn't look like it's gonna work for you, you have a very high possibility you're not gonna find a shade in this foundation, which is absolutely unacceptable. But they have been doing this for years and years, so I don't think they're gonna do better in anytime soon. Let's talk about this particular foundation formula. First of all, I feel like this is a very, very beautiful foundation, you know, shade aside. It doesn't look heavy at all. Like, it looks like skin, actually look like skin, which is actually kind of hard if you are using a shade a little bit too light for your skin, because in my experience, normally a shade that's too light for your skin tend to look way heavier on your skin. Given the shade is this pale, it's looking very, very, very natural. Even though I'm touching it right now and it doesn't seem to transfer that much. Can you see the little fuzz that get into it? I feel like that's one thing about balm foundation that I don't like. It collects every single thing in it, and this is only the first use. Oh, actually I can see the two sides being different in finish. Interesting, because this side, right off the bat, it looked like it's super glowy, but now it's actually looking more matte than this side. Can you tell? This side has this like a very nice glow to it. From right now, I think this formulation is more suitable for oily skin in the summer than this one. But the thing is, SPF 30 for summer, as long as you are living in somewhere that is not too sunny, I feel like that might not be enough. I like the RMK side. I don't think this side look more pale. I like the finish on this side. This is from ADDICTION&DECORTE, most recent launch from them. This is their new liquid blush. They have two formula. One is a foggy, these two, foggy formula, and one is the glowy formula. I already tried this in the store, so I can tell you right now, the foggy formula is a little bit more, of course, a little bit more matte and a little bit more pigmented, and the glowy one is very watery and sheer. For the glowy one, I bought the shade 04, dusty pink shade, but it's not like too purple, it's just a muted pink, I guess. And here is the shade. I need to close this curtain. I think you can see this color. For the foggy formula, I bought the shade 002 and 004, and I think you can tell the shade is very different. This is the foggy one, this is the glowy one. The foggy in 004, which of course is very, very different than the other two. Why did I bought these two pink shades? Is because these two are a very, very popular combination, probably on Instagram or something. These two are sold out on a lot of places, so I think I'm lucky to be able to find these two. Because they are like all layering, these two, so I thought let's try it. I probably am applying a little bit too much, and it's so watery. I said it's too much, but it's actually not. It's about enough actually, because it's very sheer. So then let's layer right off the bat. I think you can see there's way more color. Like I kind of like this shade. It's very Asia, like Asian type of aesthetic when it comes to makeup. Right off the bat, I feel like this one is not as pigmented as the pinky one. Is that because it melts into the skin better? I feel like you can barely even see the shade on the camera. And even in real life, I can't see it that much. It just slightly added a hint of color. Not even like a color. It's just look like it has slightly more blood circulation. Adding more shows a little bit more color, but still it's not that much of color. So if you really, really like the no makeup, like clean girl type of thing, I feel like you could like this, because even after layering so much, like I'm trying to show you in all different angles, but I can't see that much color. And there's one thing about liquid blush, especially the not very pigmented one, is no matter how different the shade looks in the tube, on your face it's not gonna be that different, because do you see that much of a difference? So my thoughts on these blush are the pigmentation level is different, but they are very, very easy to blend. and it's not patchy at all. Like, I don't think you can see anywhere that's patchy on my face. It's not sticky at all, especially the foggy one. The foggy one probably has a little bit of silicone in it, and it's very smoothing on the skin, and it does settle down. I feel like it's not sticky at all, especially this side. Like, I only applied the foggy formula on this side. And we do have this one. It's their previous liquid foundation formula. I feel like the liquid look more glowy, and I feel like the old one completely settles down. It's not sticky at all, and the new one a little bit sticky. We are done with all of the liquids. Let's move on to powder, and I do have two. Both like relatively new, but not actually new in this spring. Okay, this one is from SUQQU. I think it's launched in last year. And this one I think is launched in the beginning of this year, right? Or is it last year as well? Multicolored type stuff, you know, like Givenchy type powder. Actually, these two are in a very similar concept. This one is a purple powder, if you can tell. It's a lavender one. And this one has lavender too, and even not like considered the lavender shade, it itself is a very like pastel-y type of powder, which again is the same concept. Oh, can you tell this powder is slightly, you know, purpley pink hue? But it's not like a lot, so you probably couldn't tell. And this one, I feel like on the camera you can barely tell the difference in color, but even in real life the difference in color is not that big. Again, very small difference. Decent sized little puff. It's not too big and it's not too small either. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. I just feel like after this powder you can barely see my blush. Let's try this SUQQU one. It gave a very huge puff. And I kind of feel like the SUQQU one has a slightly more brightening effect. I feel like this camera is too bright right now. Let me adjust a little bit. I think you can tell this side is slightly more bright than this side. But I like the finish on this side. For some reason, this side just look more smooth to me. It's not a huge difference, but I just feel like on this side it overall looked a little bit better. But for now, I love both of the powder. The DECORTE one look nice as well. The next one is also something that I am very excited about. It's from SUQQU. I think this is their newest quad. Is the shade 14. It's their permanent shade. Initially I wasn't going to buy this, but this one was so popular on Rednote. So Rednote people made me buy it. Every time I open that app I spend money. I don't know why. And here is the swatch. You can see as a swatch, it's a beautiful palette, but it's nothing special. I don't know why people on there love this one so much, but I thought it's like, you know, even though it's not absolutely amazing, it's something you could use every day, so it wouldn't be like too bad, right? I want to use this shade first. It's a very natural, like shimmery type of shade. There's not very metallic finish in it, it's just slightly shimmery. Oh, on the eyes it actually has some shimmer. Indeed, it's a little bit different, I feel like. It has a little bit of the pinky, warm coral type of base. It's like very faint. And it has like a gold shimmer on top. So very, very subtle shift to it. And I also kind of like their approach. They put their very colorful colors in their limited edition launches, and they make their permanent shade very useful, like on a daily. I think that's kind of clever, because you know, for the colorful ones, not everybody is gonna buy those and use those every day. So like have some fun for limited edition and make the permanent line good for your daily usage. It's pretty nice approach. I like the shade, even though I don't think you can see it very well on camera. Maybe let's swatch on my palm so you can see it a little bit better. Can you tell the slight shift it has? It's not like a rainbow reflect or anything like that, but it does look more interesting than it is in the pan. Now let's use this shade, which is a very dark brown, and this one is very pigmented. This is probably an eyeliner shade for you to draw your eyeliner, but today we are using it on a larger area. It blends well and not patchy, even though I don't know why it looks patchy on the camera. Okay, like the shade. It's a very dark shade, but it's not too dark that it's hard to blend out. Concentrate this shade on along the lash line. I actually really like this type of quad that they have a relatively dark shade. So I feel like just that one dark shade gives you so much more variety. And I'm thinking, where do we use this shade? It's a shade that's slightly more shimmery than like a satiny shade. Maybe let's put this as a base of the glitter. I don't know. I'm just trying, like a pale gold shade. This kind of reminds me of the shade 03. That one is this type of yellowy brown as well, but this one I think just has a little bit more coral. It's very different, it's just like slightly in the same color family. I like this one too, layering on top. This glitter shade, which is the most exciting. Oh, this glitter is way more strong than a lot of their glitters, and they even have a lot of base shade, which usually their glitters don't have the base shade, and it's a very hard formula. You have to kind of work your finger in there for a while to take the right amount, but this one is almost crumbly, so it's not the same formula as their normal glitter toppers. Really gives your eyes that like almost wet kind of look. Okay, the eye is done. I actually really liked this palette. I mean, is it groundbreaking, like never done before? Probably not, but I do really like this. Okay, I think I want to layer this blush for just a little bit more. Let's see how it layers on top of already powdered skin. Oh, it layered pretty nicely actually. I feel like if you're gonna put powder on anyways, you might as well just put this after powder, because I feel like whatever I put before powder is kind of like going into a waste because the powder is gonna cover them all. On top of the like already powdered skin, it looks slightly more pigmented. And this is the finished makeup. Let's do a quick recap. Let's not make this part very long. First of all, this balm foundation, it's nice. It's a nice formula. I actually really liked it. It's a very not sheer but light medium coverage with a slightly dewy formula, slightly dewy finish balm foundation. It's not heavy on the skin. It sits close to the skin actually. It has a natural finish. And my only complaint is the shade, because the shade I feel is a little bit too light for me and too pink. It looks more pink in the pan than on my face, like a lot of pink here. And for the blush, I actually really liked these. I think I like the foggy one more than the glowy one. The glowy one is just a little bit sticky and not very pigmented at all. It's like very sheer. I think I prefer their previous formulation rather than the new glowy one. But I do really like the foggy one. It probably has a lot of silicone in it, but it's not very silicone-y at all. Like, I don't really like very silicone-y stuff, but I do love these. If you layer it on already powdered skin, it has like better pigmentation, and just from the two shades I purchased, different shades has different pigmentation level, which for some reason is a thing with liquid foundation, liquid blush. And yeah, I do like these. The shade 002 and 004, I love both of these. The sunscreen, for the decorative one, initially on the skin it looks very glowy, but it does dry down pretty quickly. So I think this is more for people who don't really want that much texture from sunscreen, but it is like a SPF 30. So that's a thing. And for the RMK one, I kind of love everything about it. It has a slightly brightening effect, or you might call it white cast, but I don't really mind it that much. It's not too much. It doesn't make my complexion look too weird. So yeah, I do like the formula, and it make the foundation formula a little bit more easy to glide on. It doesn't make the foundation like sits weird at all. I love this one. It's pretty nice, and it's very glowy. It make the foundation look more glowy as well. And the two powder, have to try this more, but right off the bat, like just the first try, I love both, but I might like the SUQQU one a little bit more. I think it just look a little bit more smoothing on the skin, but that's just my first impression. And for the quad, like I just mentioned, I do like this. It's just a little bit different than your normal like neutral eyeshadow. Other than this very deep shade, every shade has just a little bit, a tiny little bit of shift. So it's a little bit more fun than like just very typical neutral palette, and I do love it. It's nothing too special though, but it's just a little bit special. And that's all. That's everything that I have tried. The new spring launch in 2025. And I'm gonna continue to try all of these, and there's gonna be update on different videos, different like all-in-one like roundup category review type of videos. So stay tuned if you're interested. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.